Hey Woodlanders, welcome back to another woodlog. The woodland is bursting into life this week. Mayflower, the hawthorn tree, the oak trees are all just about bursting into leaf. One of the first apple trees we put up here, but that looks incredible. Look at the pink on that, it's amazing. Those are sea buckthorn, they're alive, that's good. We planted those in woodlog number 1, I think it was. My brother's plum tree we planted because his cat died. So that's in blossom, so that might even have some plums on this year. Bit of colour on the acer. I wanted to see if I can see any growth on the robinias we planted, because we've had no real rain. Dry springs are always amazing from a barbecue point of view, but they're not great when you've just planted new trees and the ground. I mean, I can see this down here, look. It's just, we've just got dust. I mean, it's May the 1st, or it's about May the 3rd, I think, today. And yeah, I mean, normally April showers is what you think of for a British England weather system, and April has been so dry. Let's have a look down here at these robinias, see if there's anything that's alive. There should hopefully be in leaf now. Let's have a quick look. There's nothing in there. That doesn't look promising. Nothing in there. Oh, that's got leaves on it. That's nothing on that at all. No leaves on it at all. Look, so if you look at that, that is, in fact, I don't know if you can see that, but that has been dug up. So something has dug the root up, look. So that's dead. So even though I had a tree shelter on it, something's come in at the side of it and dug it up. Now, I don't think for a minute this is going to help, but it just makes me feel better. That one's dead as well, but I mean, it's in the ground, look. Maybe it'll take another couple of weeks. We can honestly say robinia is probably not a good choice for this woodland, and the dry spring probably hasn't helped. I think we're looking at about 90% failure. There's a few alive down here. The things that do well really are oaks, hazel. I mean, silver birch grow anywhere, but there's limits on how much silver birch you want in a woodland, really. That's silver birch self-set regrowing, look. Thuya, that's another tree that does well, so I wouldn't plant pines in here. I wouldn't plant larch now because, as much as I love larch, they have the phytophthora problem, so I certainly don't want to import phytophthora in here. Sweet chestnut do okay, but they don't like late frosts. So this is sweet chestnut. Look, that's starting to coppice. New shoots coming, all at the side, look. Great stuff. Sweet chestnut self-set there, look, that's good. Down there we've got a monkey puzzle, look. They're very slow growing. Today it's more hazel weaving, so if you're not bored with it already, but that's what pays the bills, so that's what we'll carry on doing. These are the ones for a lady in Burton-on-Trent, a lady called Julie, and it's at the top of a very, very steep garden, so it steps all the way up to the front door, and then more steps all the way up to the top of the garden, and then a very steep incline right to the very top. So thankfully they're not 6x6 panels, they're about 5.5 foot wide by 4 foot high. But of course all of that's got to be carted up to the top end of the garden. All the posts have got to be carted up, and all my tools have got to be carted up. And there's actually what we could call an old-fashioned twilly hole in that one. It's not quite a twilly hole, it's more of a twilly corner. A twilly is like a part of the panel that was cut out so that the shepherd could stick his shepherd's crook through the twilly hole, and then he'd have the crook on his shoulder, and he'd probably carry 4 panels on his back then, so 4 hazel hurdles he carries back with a twilly hole in the top, and that's all it was there for really, I think. He should put his rod through and be able to carry him up the hills. So only this one's got what we'll call a twilly corner for badgers and foxes and cats. Beautiful, that's another one done. Go and have a little gander at the Wildflower meadow, because that's the one I brush cut a couple of weeks ago on the woodlog. It'll be interesting to see how the wildflowers are doing. Oh, bluebells. These are bluebells that we planted. These are natives because they hang over, look, just one side. I bought these bulbs a while ago. These are doing a bit better down here. Oh, they're good. Because in previous years they've been very, very weak. Look at that cluster there, look. Amazing. Look at the state of that. Ash dieback with epicormic growth coming and the lesions there, look. We've got some red campions. That's these ones here, these are quite pretty. Got loads of them, look. I know that one's purple vetch, that one there. No flowers on it yet, but we did have some yellow rattle in here, which is classed as a parasite, because what it does, it latches onto grass and sort of grows and gets its nutrients from the grass that it latches onto. Only it's quite a fickle plant. It's good in a way in wildflower areas because what happens is it latches onto the grass and weakens the grass, which is always a good thing in a wildflower area, because otherwise the grass can just take over. You end up with a thicket of meadow grass, which is you won't get the wildflowers so much then. Badger's been digging. But I don't think we've got much else at the moment. It just looks like red campion. I think some of these might be oxeye daisies, these ones with big green leaves here. I mentioned last week that I was struggling to sell some of my bean poles. It's been a really weak year for bean poles, and I still don't know the answers to why. However, I had a chat with Gardener's Bothy and they've run out, but of course theirs are like javelins. And I haven't got javelins, mine are all a little bit of a rustic nature to them, we could say. Only I found 30, because she says whatever you've got we'll buy off you, but of course it's got to be up to their standard. Now they sell them for £3 each, which I was flabbergasted because that's twice what I charge. But they are of a very, very high quality. There's some guys still selling them for £1. I can't believe that. In this day and age, a bean pole for £1. Anyway, I've got some here, look. There's some half decent bean poles in there. Now I've got these put to one side for weavers, but they are way too big for that. So I'm going to cut these up. I'm going to try and get as many as I can, because I've got 30 up there that I can sell to Gardener's Bothy. If I can get another 10, another week, and I'll have missed the boat, even the good ones I won't be able to sell them. Gardener's Bothy had the rods, which is great. It perhaps wasn't quite as good as I was hoping for, so the price that I originally thought I'd get, I didn't get. So that was a bit disappointing, but it means if I didn't sell them to Gardener's Bothy, there's a good chance I might not sell them at all, and then you're like, so I've lost an hour today of productivity, but I've sold the bean poles and they've gone and I've been paid. Anyway, I quit whining because I've got enough food for today, so why else worry? And I've got work for tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get paid tomorrow, which will be really nice. Got to load up for tomorrow, so that's these posts here. That's getting somewhere close for the job tomorrow at Leicester. I've got a couple more bits. We managed to get a couple of panels made today. Ellie Ray and Karen Pop. Got the wind in that. Took because it's bank holiday Monday. Had a bit of a play around. And it's now tea time. So I'm glad I got a couple of panels done, which means I've got to do another 5. And I don't honestly know whether I'll get another 5 done before Friday. But that is not your problem, it's mine. See you tomorrow. Back in Leicester again this morning, trying to finish this job off. Didn't have a very good start. Seemed to have got problems on the van. Seems to be a water leak possibly on the radiator, which all started off by not having the temperature gauge reading on the way to Leicester. So I had to turn around. I can't believe I've not cooked the engine. There's no water in the oil. And there doesn't seem to be lots of vapours coming out from the exhaust, so I'm kind of hoping that I haven't wrecked the head gasket. I've had to leave the van at home because there's definitely a water leak. It's dripping from the front and I can't tell from where, and I think it's the radiator. Anyway, I couldn't risk taking the van, and I can't not do the Leicester job really, so I've had to rob the car and chuck all my tools in the back and launch the trailer on the back of the car this morning. You know, when your head's like scrambled because you're trying to get a job done that you've got to try and get done to get the money in, and now I've got to try and sort out someone to fix the van, and it's dripping like red, which I think is the antifreeze, but I've just got to try and get this Leicester job done. So I'll bring you along for this one. I'm hoping it goes as well as I want it to, but I've got a really bad feeling today's going to go really bad. Anyway, thanks for being a bit of a shoulder to cry on. I'm going to crack on and try and get this job done, and I'll let you know what problems we have. So that's the Leicester job all done, which is good news. I hope you like it. B-roll looks good. I was expecting it to be a complete and utter nightmare and a real pig of a job. Actually, a little bit unsettling with a couple of the posts. It worked out really well, and the bolt downs worked out well, and yes, the customer was really happy with it, and so was I in the end. So another job ticked off the list, which is excellent. I had a chat with the garage. They're going to have a look at my van next week. So that's it for today. See you in the morning. Yeah, I'll straighten you up a bit. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Morning. I decided to risk it in the van because if you watched about 8 seconds ago, you'll realise that I had van issues yesterday. When you shine the torch down now, I can actually see it dripping out, and it's dripping out of the radiator at the front. Got that booked in for next Tuesday, and I'll let them have a good look at it, and hopefully they can fix it. A radiator seems to fluctuate between about £80 and £180, so I don't know whether there's some like, oh sorry mate, you've got the weird model that takes the expensive radiator. The worst thing is if you cook the egg gasket, so it's possible to get the engine so hot that what happens is you warp the cylinder head, water in your oil and oil in your water. The other way of checking, I believe, is you can put your hand in front of the exhaust. If it feels particularly wet, then there's water being burnt off in the combustion chamber. So I'm sort of hoping that I haven't wrecked the engine, because that could be a bit of a disaster really. It almost writes the van off. It's not your problem, is it? It's my problem. So anyway, today I'll tell you what we're doing today. We've actually got 5 panels to try and get done. There's no way I can get that done in a day. I might be able to squeeze 3 in. Tomorrow I've got earmarked another project. Can't tell much about because it involves somebody who watches this vlog. So however, I'm now thinking the job I got for Friday, which was to fit these panels, is postpone the Friday job until Monday. Get that done on Monday, so I'll know that I've got all the panels done and finished. I can do my secret project on Thursday still. So I'm just thinking as I'm talking here, which is pretty normal. Right, I think between us we have worked out a plan of action. And you may have noticed today that it's a lot damper. So if I just turn you around a sec. We have our first drips of rain. We haven't had rain for about a month really here. And I mentioned the other day about my trees all dying. Well, that's partly the reason. It's been so dry here. But in the top surface layer, the top sort of 1.5 to 2 inches is quite dry, and that's where the new trees are trying to get their moisture from. And those reminisces are toast really. You know, when you've got something going and the seeds germinate and it's all going good, and then you stick them in the ground, they die. I mean, the other option is with the reminisces is they are a copy species, so you just never know if there's enough life in the roots. It might send up a new shoot from up the side, and that is because oaks will sometimes do that in the drought. They'll die off, and then you'll take the tree shelter and well, that's dead, and then all of a sudden there's a new shoot that comes up from the side. They'll be in the ground anyway till next year, and if they're dead, that's it. I'm going to creep up just up here because I think there's a blackbird's nest. No, I can't see it. I thought there was a blackbird going in somewhere here. But the biggest problem is squirrels can be a real problem. And what squirrels do is they will eat the eggs, and they will also eat the chicks. So they'll eat nuts. Oh yeah, wonderful that is. And they'll also shred your trees, which is not very good. And then when they don't even need to be desperate. They just like get bored. So, oh, you know what? Let's go and eat some birds' eggs. So all the songbirds are trying to nest, or during lockdown anyway, We had tree creepers nesting. The squirrel had all of them, ragged the nest out, ripped all that to pieces. Now that definitely wasn't badgers or foxes. That was definitely the squirrels. And then it happened again with another blackbird's nest elsewhere, and there's no way that could have been foxes or badgers. So that's squirrels for you. They eat the eggs and they eat the chicks. So yeah, just not a fan of squirrel really. The rain's come. It affects my motivation when it rains like this. I'm like, oh, just sit by a log burning. I haven't got time for that. I made one panel anyway this morning, got one done. I'm halfway through another one, almost. Have a look. So I've got about 2.5 panels done today, I suppose. And then if I spin you around, I've got 4 panels, so I've done 2 the other day, 2 today. Good morning. You won't smell this, but the hawthorn or the mayflower, just spin your head around a second. The mayflower's out, look. And the smell, I mean, some people cannot stand the smell. And it's quite a heavy smell in that it's all around me. You get out, I got out of the car and it's like, wow, the smell is so strong. But I do like it. Some people say it sounds like cat wee, but I'm okay with it. I don't mind. It gives me a bit of a spring, it's that summery spring smell. And especially when it's warm like this, nice morning. I got a last minute call last night for 50 boxes of charcoal. Michael, he's been a regular for about 3 years. And he runs, or used to run like a street food business with a real good chef. I think he's opening a bit of a restaurant, but I don't know. Anyway, it's in Lichfield, so I've got to grab these 50 boxes and then buzz off to Lichfield and drop them off for him. So I'll get a wiggle on. Right, we are full, so I've got a car full as well. Just dropped off Michael's charcoal. This is a brewery. He's having a kitchen built in here and having his barbecue business run from this brewery, and they're opening on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and hoping to be open by mid-May. And he uses solely our charcoal. So I'm just driving through Catton Park, which is where I used to work. So this was probably the best job ever. This place, I just absolutely love this place. Robin, the landowner, he's since retired. He still lives in the house. I suppose you could call it the hall, Catton Hall. And his son runs the business now, and he lives in the hall as well. Yeah, honestly, it's fantastic. Lovely estate, about 1,000 acres-ish, a lot of it in woodland. You can see that woodland at the top there. I helped look after all that. That was just this woodland just in front of me here as I turn. That there, I planted all of that. So that's doing really well. That was about 20 years ago. And then through there's more woodland, and I helped plant that and look after it for the years. There's more woodland through there, help plant and look after that. So it really is absolutely lovely spot, a proper sort of English country estate, and it's got loads of woodland. So he was one of the biggest landowners in the area that had a lot of his land turned over to woodland. So he availed himself of a lot of the National Forest grant system, and honestly now, after sort of 20 years or so of bit by bit, more planting, it really is a stunning estate with so much woodland. So although I'm happy where I'm at and what I do now, this was for me sort of like the catalyst, the starting point of what I do. So it really was a forestry thing I was doing then. Lots more of thin-ins and fell-ins, and it was a great starting point for me. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a heads up on the Catton estate. That's in South Derbyshire, that is. South Derbyshire / Staffordshire border. Good morning. This morning we're back on our panels. Got to finish this one. I've got some charcoal going out tonight, I think. 50 boxes. That's for Secret Cloud Yurts. If you've never seen those, that's a yurt glamping site in North Derbyshire. They've been having charcoal offers now, I think, for 3 years, because they're really keen to use local suppliers and local producers. Honestly, it's a fantastic place. So I'm going to crack on. See you in a bit. And another one down. One to go. And the last one's finished. These are all ready and prepped for Monday, so I'm going to load up the trailer with these. I wanted to say, because it's Friday, thanks for watching. If you want to join us again next week, hopefully we'll get these installed in Burton. And if you're able to, try and enjoy the woodlands again this week.